You're listening to Fighting Game Follies.
It's the #1 podcast for low-level player opinions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hello to all of my mashers, grapplers, set play psychopaths, Wi-Fi warriors, O-tours, tournament organizers, everybody else in the entire FGC scope and spectrum. It is your boy once again coming back at it with another episode of the Fighting Game Follies. You know, Griefer Games, the only one who's ever been. And I'm actually here joined with a special guest. What's going on?
Hey, first of all, I want to say that is a fantastic intro.
Thank you.
Props to you for that. I'm good. I'm here to, talk about a lot of stuff because we got a lot of fighting games out recently. You know, if you just even look as early as like 6 months back, we're getting a lot of new entries to legacy games. We're getting new games. I feel like there are going to be a lot of people coming in, if they haven't already, coming into the FGC.
Yeah.
And it's kind of those sorts of people that, don't have all that experience, don't have all of the game knowledge, those types of people that I'm trying to focus on today.
Yeah. You want to introduce yourself? Like, tell us your name?
Oh, yeah, my bad. I skipped a couple of steps, didn't I? So I'm Shiro. I play fighting games for fun. I'm a pretty mid to high level player. I play mainly Guilty Gear, but I also play some Street Fighter 6. And I dabble with a couple other games when I can.
Awesome. Mid to high level. I gotta see that for myself. Actually, no, I'm gonna
top 50% in the J-Easy Cold Shoulder Clash.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, I think I got like 496 or something.
Gee, out of like 1K, that's honestly not that bad.
And I'll probably talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, actually, do you want to just
Moving
go
on.
into that right now? Since I guess we could just start off with that. I feel like we go into that at every point.
Yeah, sure. So I was bouncing between floor 7 and floor 8. Before the like first kind of like super limited entry, like I think it was 128 players for the first J-Easy tournament. I was lucky enough, I fucking mashed the rematch button, or the refresh button. You have no idea how fast I got in that thing.
Yeah.
But but before that, I want to say I was bouncing between floor 7 and floor 8 because I didn't didn't bother necessarily getting better at the game. I don't think that's, an awful position to be at. If you're just having fun where you're at, you don't feel like you have to improve, then, don't, and that's completely viable.
Yeah.
But I was like, I have a tournament coming up. I want to take this seriously, I want to really get into my learning mindset, start grinding the game, whatever. And within a short amount of time, I'm talking like mid-December, and of course you gotta take breaks for like the family holidays and all of that.
Yeah, because that's around that time, yeah.
Yeah, to January 6th when the final JEC tournament started. I'm high ranked floor 10. I got into Celestial Challenge a couple of times now. And in that short amount of time, I mean, if you really put your mind to it, you can really grind and get, top 50%. In a massive, I mean, this is like super major type numbers for an online tournament. It was impressive, in my opinion.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, I think this was one of Guilty Gear's like higher, I don't want to say like low-end tournaments, but like mid to low, like if you have top players like Umisho, Tempest, I need to go and see like the rest of the bracket again, but like I remember when I was scrolling through it, those were like the two big names that caught me because obviously first and second place, those are like probably the two big top players you think of when you start thinking Guilty Gear. So like you see those two in the J-Easy tournament, and it's like, okay, we had some like actual like really big names and like some killers in there.
I mean, this tournament was huge. I feel like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, nobody expected it. Like, if I told you December 1st, this nobody rapper from Middletown, New York, was gonna host the largest online Guilty Gear tournament, you'd punch me in the face.
I mean, I wouldn't say nobody. Like,
He had a couple listen. I definitely heard
Yeah,
of him before. Everybody knows Mega Man.
yeah. No, I really don't want to pivot, but like I have my own story with Jay Easy. Basically, that whole Middletown, New York song when that was like popping off
Mhm.
during high school, the skate park that he does it in, that's like I don't want to dox myself, but like it's like 7 minutes away from where I live. And that was such a crazy like thing to experience because I would frequent there like super often, and when the video came out I was just like there's no way, like out of the 2 to 3 times I didn't go he was there recording, I was just beating myself over and over about it. Like I
Oh
couldn't.
man.
It was, it sucked, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the tournament was impressive. Even if you get into like not necessarily like top 8, top 16 names. I mean, like Uwabami was there, which was like top contender for Johnny. I think he might be number 1 right now.
Yeah.
Um, so it was a massive tournament. I feel like a lot of. I mean, I don't have to feel like anything. 1,100 people joined.
Yeah, that's some numbers right there.
Those are some numbers. So it was huge, and I obviously wanted to win. Who doesn't want to win, especially with a big tournament like that? Um, but personally, I walked away from that tournament. I could pull up my records, but I think I went like 5 and 6,
That's not bad.
so 50-50 kind of. But
Yeah.
I felt like um I had somebody there who's watching my matches, so that I could talk to him after the tournament about them. Um, and there were a lot of matches that I lost. I mean, like I got demolished, and I walked out of there and I was like, I feel better about that game than the one that I won. Because like I can feel the fact that I improved in that game alone. Like I shouldn't have. I typically don't anti-air that stuff. I anti-aired it. Or I finally realized I could punish that move from X character Jacko,
Yeah.
and I did that. I feel like that's something that maybe a lot of people, and maybe hey even some people that maybe placed better than me don't do, is really capitalize and be like, I lost, but I improved. Like
Yeah.
I lost the set, but I took a game off of this level whatever Testament player, and that's huge.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of the things a lot of people like you just said, they don't really take away. It's like, oh, learning mid set or like even learning like mid game. It's they're so focused in like the now and not really thinking of like the entire thing altogether. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Even though I might lose this game or I might lose this set and I have like another set to like fall back on, I could potentially use this to, even if I want to like try and go out of this as like an O2 or something, and if I do like drop a game, it's like, all right, I can use that dropped game for like knowledge checks, or not knowledge checks, but like learning what my opponent's habits are and everything, and like just taking in like the whole stock of like everything that's happening and like trying to formulate around that.
I mean, yeah, it's it's hard for a lot of people, and it's definitely hard for me to kind of take a step back and do that, especially if like you lose game 1 of a set. That's you can spiral really quick
Yeah.
if you let that get to you, and I feel like a lot of people do. A lot of people will be like, man, I lost. This character is just, it's such bullshit. I can't deal with this character. And I'm not going to tell you you can't win anything with that mindset. Because somebody will be like, I actually won X with that mindset. But you're not getting very far.
Yeah, it's marginally harder.
If you want to take a fighting game seriously, you gotta be able to roll with the punches. You gotta be able to be like, that move from Bridget, I hate that move. But let me go on Dust Loop really quick. Oh, that's -11. I can 6P that once
Yeah.
unblocked. And that's something that, like, I struggled with like the Johnny matchup for a while. And this kind of getting like kind of specific to Guilty Gear, but like I feel like this applies to a lot of different games.
Yeah, go ahead.
Of like I struggled with Johnny a lot, and I was like, and I was talking to my friend. I was like, I don't know what to do against Johnny, and he was like, oh, Mistfinder, if it doesn't have card, is -15. And suddenly I was like, I'm perfectly okay with holding Johnny's mix until he is forced to do Mistfinder without card. Because like card, if he sets up card, that's punishable in some ways as well. So if I just, if I sit there and I hold it, and I go, boom, instantly, I know that's -15. I can 5H that.
Yeah.
it is such, it is so like, and that's the small things too. Especially for like if you're a new player listening to this, you don't need a whole lot. You don't need to know everything about that matchup, right? Could I tell you a single other thing about Johnny? Maybe, kinda. Not really though. But I know Mistfinder's -15.
Yeah.
And that was enough to make me going from like losing 80% of the time to like winning 50% of the time.
Like you
You
only
know
really,
that
yeah, you only really need like that tiny bit of info.
yeah, you only need like one to two things about each matchup, especially if you're like, if especially if you're like low to intermediate or even like getting into the higher levels of intermediate, you don't need a whole lot from each matchup. Like you just need to go, oh, Hammerfall is minus whatever. I can deal with that. It's breaking it down into what you know you can manage, and some things maybe you can't manage it, but over time you'll be able to get yourself familiar with that sort of situation.
Yeah. I remember specifically there's a Corey video that like goes over like effectively the same sort of like concept where it's like, oh, if you have like someone I need to pull up like whatever that video was. I need to pull up all of Corey's shit. It's always really good.
The Corey video you're probably talking about because like it's the best video game glossary period is why
Yup.
button mashing doesn't work.
Yeah, there it is. It's like the
Um,
EX Bullhorn into V trigger is like -9. You can punish that. Like I don't know a damn thing about Street Fighter 5. I know for a point in time EX Bullhorn into V trigger was -9 and that was punishable by Ken. Like that's all.
yeah, I there are very fighting games have this kind of stigma of like there's so much you need to get and like you need 100 hours in training mode before you can even think about entering a ranked match. But and this is the way that I learn fighting games. I go, what's my poking move? What can I anti-air with? When I picked up Street Fighter 6.
Hmm.
I go, what hits at this range? What can I do? What do I use to get in? What's my anti-air move? And that I know that I can hit Shoryuken 99 times out of 100. I also know that I can't do it as fast as I need to. So my anti-air is crouching heavy.
Yeah.
It's crouching heavy punch every time.
Poor man
It
Shuri.
doesn't. Yeah, it's so that's boom. That's my anti-air. What's my what's my poking tool? Oh, probably medium kick because it leads into my
Drive
my
rush
target
into
combo.
whatever, yeah.
Leads into my target combo, and that's all I need. I know how to throw a fireball. That's all you need at a very basic level. And then, for a lot of characters, I'll go, okay, what? Give me two combos. Once I know two combos, I'll go into ranked and I'll kind of look for them, and that's what I do.
Yep.
I feel like that's all you need. I don't even think you need all of that to be a beginner. I don't even think you need the combo, but you need your poke, you need your anti-air.
Yeah.
I think Sajam said something very similar, and even like got through a bunch of I think it was Killer Instinct by doing that. It's a very basic game plan can get you very far, and then you can piece it together.
Yeah.
Now that you have your corners of your puzzle, you got your poke, you got your anti-air, maybe you have a combo and you know how to throw a fireball. Those are your corners. Now you work on your sides. What do I do against this matchup? Okay, neutral looks a little different when I'm going against a zoner.
Like you gotta learn how to play around that like zoner, or you have to sort of learn what the best tool can be to like play around that and then like formulate a game plan on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now that you have the border of your puzzle done, great. Let's start working on some areas. These are all purple, oh, I'm working really well in this combo. I know how to do a mix-up. I know that X character doesn't have a lot of highs, so I can keep blocking low against them until, oh, that move is -5. Let me light punch. Let me 5p. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the sort of step by step, and of course I'm comparing it to a puzzle here. I think it works really well as an analogy.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
So that's all you really need to get into it. And for my intermediate players out there, maybe you're floor 7 like I was a couple months ago. Or maybe you're floor 10, you're really looking to get to Celestial, or maybe you're gold, you're looking to get into Diamond. Or or you play Daikianta and you should go to hell. Um, I feel like a lot of, for a lot of people, that intermediate step, where like there's ranks above you, but like you're winning 50-60% of your games and you feel like you're doing really good. That next step to improve is going to be getting off of a plateau is really hard.
Yeah.
Purely because you have to look at where you are right now and where you want to be. And that first step in anything, if you want to learn anything, if you want to lose weight, if you want to learn how to play piano, if you want to learn how to juggle, you have to look at where you are and you have to look at where you want to be, and you have to go, I'm not there. And that step is really hard for a lot of people. Um, and so you got to work on that. And once you go, okay, I'm not there, what can I do to improve?
Yeah. Once again, to sort of steal like some more Corey content, because like, ooh, that man, very, very good stuff. He mentions this about I think it was the Dunning-Kruger, or it might be, I don't know. Didn't really have, like I was telling
Yes,
you
the
before.
Dunning-Kruger curve.
Yeah, the
I,
Dunning-Kruger effect. It's like, oh, you get to a point in like not knowing enough to where it's like, all right, cool, I'm fine with this. And then once you actually do get to that point of like, all right, I'm starting to get a game plan, I'm starting to understand like things, and like you sort of see more of the game for like what it is, and then you like take that step back, and it's like, man, I can understand why I'm losing. I can understand how I'm losing. The big thing is like, how do I change that into make it to where I don't put myself into like those losing situations, or like just, oh, what do I need to do to improve? And then sometimes it's not even like a thing of like mechanically needing to improve. It's just like oh, okay, my mindset is kind of bad anytime I get into like this sort of matchup. Like me specifically, I play JP not by choice. I'm sort of forced to. I play JP in Street Fighter 6. I hate playing against Rashid and I hate playing against Blanca. Anytime I see those two characters in rank, my like I have a really good day and then immediately summits. And I know this, and I know every time I like face up against this matchup, it's probably like some of my worst. But like the fact that I already know this, and the fact that like I know I need to change this, I'm already making like steps to improve in order to like learn how to deal with like those two matchups.
yeah, no, I mean, I was going to say, I'm still going to, but yeah, I was going to say something very similar. And that's once you hit that valley in learning anything, that's when you need strong mental. Um, you don't need to have the ability to enjoy your day and have a nice day when the sun is out. You need that for when it's raining.
Yeah.
And once you get into that pit, oh boy, it's downpouring. And for the past 2 years of playing fighting games, I love them to death. I can't get enough of them. That's pretty much all I've been working on. And not only is it hard to have good mental, because this is a skill you have to build up. It's just like learning your muscle memory for your combos. It's like learning the matchup. It's like knowing how to play neutral and footsies. You have to build it up, and everybody starts at ground zero.
Yeah.
Um, and having that mental it's really hard. And I feel like what makes it harder is certain communities, not all of them, and some fan bases are better at this than others, but there's a large majority of people that will be like that. Like when I tell them, oh yeah, you need to, I give them the advice of like, yeah, you need to look at yourself. You need to be like, all right, I'm not where I need to be yet. You need to think, critically, and you have to give yourself these small victories. A lot of the time it's men. Because that's the I'm not gonna say that's the core fan base of fighting games, but
It's the predominant one.
it's a predominant.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's men. They think of it as like a hit on like their ego, or like they don't they can't like strong arm their way through it, or
They're
I'm not
stubborn.
describing it very well, but
It's like it's a very like as a dude, it's a very stubborn like, oh okay, cool, if I can't, or at least this is like my interpretation of it. It's like, oh okay, if I can't figure this out by myself, or if I'm like not at the point where I can like go off and like actually like do the research by myself, I basically just want to like do everything myself. And like if I sort of get like any sort of outside help, whether it's like from a person that I'm cool with, or like someone else that like I just lost that matchup in, especially if it's like I'm in tournament like and I lose that matchup and then like someone like goes to me like, hey, you could have done like X, Y, and Z, and I'm like still like somewhat salty after like that loss. It's like I don't want to hear that right now. I need to go process like I need to process everything, you know?
I mean, yeah. So it's very hard for people to ask for help.
Yeah.
Which is like I've talked to a few new players. Um, I'm gonna give an example. I won't name names, obviously.
Yep, that's fine.
But I was playing with somebody, and they were I can't remember the exact floor. Let's say floor 6. They were playing, and I was beating them because like this was right when I started to like actually try to improve, and I was joining Discord servers, learning my matchups, etc. And they were getting like really mad, and I was like, I can't get myself to play with somebody that can get this frustrated all the time. Like it's like, have you ever like watch somebody play Street Fighter on Twitch and they're like, this character sucks, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't really want to watch this sort of situation. And so like I sat down, I talked with them, and I was like, I can't play with somebody that's getting upset all the time, and like, how can I not get upset? They feel like getting upset at a game is like a natural reaction because like you're losing, and a lot of people unfortunately tie their self-worth to their win-loss ratio.
Yeah.
And I go, if because I was in their spot 2 years ago. And the mention I mentioned 2 years ago, I have this vivid memory. I think it was February, so exactly 2 years ago from right now. I was I was 16 years old. I was playing that Demon Slayer game that had come out.
Himekani Kagura trial or like
Yeah.
Chronicles.
Fun fact, I pretty much established the Xbox community for that game.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah. But I was playing. I had lost a tournament, and like recently, I was getting introduced to all of these new players and all these bigger servers. And I lost. Uh, I went like I went like 0-2 in the tournament. I went like 0-3 in every set. And I remember sitting down with my friend, and I was like, I don't know, man. And if I started, you know, for other real world things, and because like I actually wanted to have like better mental. I started talking to a therapist after the fact, but I cried.
Hmm.
I sat down and I cried, and my friend was like, "We're gonna record something," and thank God this recording has been deleted off the face of the planet now. Uh, you know, you're gonna talk about what you want to improve in, and that's a very embarrassing story for me, obviously, but it shows that like people do put a lot of their self-worth on their win-loss ratio, especially when they invest, you know, 100 hours, 200 hours, 300 hours into their fighting game of choice, and they're getting their ass handed to them. That can suck.
Yeah.
And like talking from a place of experience, it does. But you got to be like, I got to be stronger than that, and it'll help your daily life too, but talking purely about fighting games, it's just
It
you got
hurts.
to you got to replace that frustration, that anger, that sadness with questions,
Yeah.
instead of you gotta try, and it's an effort, it's an exercise, but you gotta be like, instead of being like, I hate when Cammy does dive kick, you have to be like, how can I beat Cammy with dive kick? um and so what I was talking about with this person, I know that was a pretty large detour. I was Because they were like, I don't even know what to ask. And I said, if you're talking to somebody that's better, that's an actual friend of yours playing this game, and they are better than you, and you go, I want to ask something, I don't know why I'm losing, but I don't know what to ask, they will likely help you.
Yeah.
I go, I got GeForce experience on my computer. Let me. Anytime you ask me what was wrong, I'll record the match and we can look through it together. Here's an invite to a Discord server filled with people I trust. They're really good at this game, and they're nice people. And before long, that floor 6 player that was like getting really upset every game was, I think they're floor 9 now.
Nice.
They're really improving, and they're happy doing so. But the first two things I did, I said, do you actually want to improve? Like think about it for more than 1 minute, even if that's 61 seconds. Do you want to improve? If yes, if you're having problems, if you're having, any sort of emotional problem with the game itself, um, then the next step would be replace any sort of anything that you would not describe as like having fun with, or anything that you maybe associate with being negative. Replace that with questions. I'm sorry, that was a bit long. I didn't really let you speak a whole
Yeah,
lot.
no, I didn't. I was invested. I didn't know if I was allowed to speak. But
No.
I understand exactly where you're coming from with the replacing it with questions, especially like the whole playing with someone who would get mad frequently because I also play like with Street Fighter and Gear specifically. I taught or I tried to teach one person in Gear. He's still like learning now after I don't want to say dropped the game, but I'm not like invested in it as like I used to be 3 years back. But every time like we do like a really long set, especially with like all of our other friends, because like I'm the best player in like that little group. It was always, oh man, uh, I'm getting beat by like the same stuff. I don't really know how to approach it. Meanwhile, they're just like sort of not really taking in everything that's like being done. This is gonna be like kind of a stretch, but there's one like Fortnite meme where there's like these two dudes like this is a huge fucking detour, but like there's this Fortnite meme where these two dudes are having like a build battle, and then like in the middle of the build battle, one of the guys gets shot, and then he's like, all right, no, I gotta figure out how is this being shot, or like how am I getting shot, and then in the middle of that fight, the other guy is like, all right, cool, I'm going to show you like wrap around everything, like stop, like full stop. Here's where it happened. Here's how I was able to do it. Here's exactly what happened, and then it's just like, oh, I see. Okay, run it back. Does the same thing. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I get it. Run it back. Like for I think like a solid like minute, and it was like the funniest thing ever. But at the same time, it was very.
I think I know what you're talking about now.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. That was like a super big stretch. I know my like, my side on the internet is like very weird when it comes to just like anything that pops up on my Instagram feed. Like
Mhm.
sometimes it'll just be like very random stuff like that, and then like other times it's like the most like basic generic like garbage whatever that's being like thrown around on the internet like ping pong that day. But I remember I was watching it and I sent it over to one of my friends or the dude that I teach in Guilty Gear, and I was like, "You need to be more like this guy." And then he was like, "I am like this guy. I don't know what you're talking about." And no, he was very much not.
Yeah, I mean that's something too of like some teaching styles just don't mend well with certain learning styles, and that doesn't mean that the teacher is bad, and that doesn't mean that the student is bad. It's just that you're not compatible.
Yeah.
Um, which that's just a fact of it. And like I'm somebody that likes to teach. Even outside of fighting games, like I'm super into like all types of history, and I like to teach people about it.
Nerd.
But so like, and you think, like I sat down and I was like, I really love fighting games, and I really love teaching. How do I? What's my angle here? And I was like, well, I'm not going to Evo anytime soon.
Uh,
you know,
yeah.
um, and but I do what I know is what I know well, and what I do have on my side is just this. I don't want to say godlike. I feel like I'm gassing myself up too much, but like I have this really good mental.
Mm.
And mental is kind of like almost this. When you say it like that, like I have been, it's kind of ethereal. But what
Yeah.
mental is really is like if you watched the top 8 of Frosties.
Oh,
Um,
like just any top eight or just like gear in specific?
I was watching Gear, so I'm gonna bring up Gear here.
Okay.
But
I
I mean,
only like tuned in for
any
like a
top
quarter of
8
it.
player for any game should have a really good mental. And if you look at like Lord Knight versus Leffen,
Ah, fuck, that was the one set I didn't see. Damn it. Okay.
I
I
won't spoil any of the
I
specific
no,
details about the match. Then
I know it was Lord Knight lost cuz I remember like seeing everybody like on my Twitter feed was like super sad about it.
Yeah. But like Lord Knight, to be honest, Leffen's playing Chaos. Be for
Yeah,
real.
I don't. Yeah,
Yeah. But
everybody.
Leffen, but Leffen's, he's doing his shit, and of course Leffen's like a known villain. He's playing his owner, and he's getting his which are not canonically, but like are consistently known as the sort of archetype that pisses you off specifically intentionally so that you run into their shit.
Yep.
And Leffen's kind of an asshole, not in a way to attack him, but like it's funny and I
No,
enjoy watching
no,
him.
it's
Yeah.
it's very true. Especially like I don't want to cut you here, but like I come from my competitive scene started in like Smash and like
Oh
there
shit, me
were
too.
uh I apologize.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
should. Yeah,
yeah.
it's awful.
It was so bad.
So bad.
When did you start?
Oh, I think so. I started. So this is whenever I get into like a rollback 200 millisecond game. I'm like, this sucks, but you know what? I know what I'm doing because I started on Smash 4 on the 3DS.
Oh my god.
Eventually Ultimate came out, and of course, now I dabble with Melee a little bit.
I can't play Melee. That's like I used to play. I started back in like the tail end of Brawl, like right around the time that Smash 4 was gonna come out. But like Melee is the one game I will never touch. But I know
I
I've
I thought like that for a while. And it's harder than Ultimate because like in Ultimate I can press both of the jump buttons and get a short hop, but like every once in a while I'll be like I'm gonna do some reps. I'm gonna set up like a metronome, get the timing down for whatever I want to learn, and it's like and it's that's not necessarily the approach I do with most fighting games in general, but for Melee that's like I'm gonna pop in for 30 minutes, get the execution down, and then I'm gonna go play something else. So I'm slowly getting my way there.
yeah. But
Um,
Leffen, bad
yeah.
dude. Nobody likes him. Still think it was
You
hilarious
shut your
how
mouth. I love that man.
gross.
I
I
love me a villain.
I mean, a villain is, don't get me wrong, a good villain is good. Like, I love me some Filipino champ. I wouldn't even call him a villain, but like, I love me some low tier god. But like, I can't vibe with Leffen. I don't know.
There's this thing on Twitter. There's an interaction between him and Sajam. This is him reacting to the finals of Frosties, where he was like,
Oh, it was like, I don't want
"Yeah,
to, shit on
Sin,
Leffen, or, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Sin Elfelt finals. Oh my God, this game. What has this game come to?" Or he didn't say those words, but something along those lines, and that was the sentiment. And Sajam was like, "You're right. I bet you people would much rather watch a Happy Chaos Ditto." And he was like, "No, they wouldn't, but I would."
Yeah,
That's why I follow. It's those interactions.
like,
Anyway,
yeah, back to the point at hand.
back to the point. You got this match, Leffen versus Lord Knight. And of course Leffen's doing his Leffen thing. And Lord Knight, stone cold face, and he's playing really well the whole time. And the set ends, he gives the handshake, and he smiles and he leaves. That's the sort of like that's the composure side of mental. Um and like if you go, okay, well if that's what good mental looks like, what does bad mental look like? Let me present you to the top 8 of Frosty Faustings again. I think somebody that has bad mental at a really high level is Umisho. You ever see
Really?
Umisho play?
I've
Or
like only a couple times. The only time I saw them play in person was I think it was Evo 23 or 2023, and that's it. And then like I've like every now and then like I'll pop in, see him in like a gear stream, and then I'm like, oh okay, cool, Umi's playing. I guess I'll watch this for like an hour
yeah,
just to kill time.
Umisho. I don't think I've ever seen Umisho not fake like a fucking maraca every single set that she plays. It's concerning watching the vibration speed of her hands at the end of every single set. I mean, and they're obviously, I think, like Ubi Show is one of the I think, contender for the best player of Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah.
But and but I don't think the mental is there. They're somebody that their nerves get to them all of the time. They and it's kind of impressive how well they do, given how visibly her nerves can seem to get to her. Um, that's somebody who's shaking all the time and can be like kind of easily provoked into something like that. And that's you can if say you play Guilty Gear and you go, I really want to have like that same level of game knowledge and like ability, or like I play Soul, I want to be just like Show. You you want to be 80% like Show, and then the other 20% you want to be like Lord Knight.
Yeah. I would even like skewer that a tiny bit more, like maybe like 30 Lord Knight and then like 70 Umi.
Yeah, I think if you have good mental, you even if you have good mental, it's not going to get you instantly to top 8. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You need the other parts, but I think it is a huge pillar stone that people don't to focus on. Now, when you talk to somebody about fighting games, they go, "Okay, you gotta have, get your execution on point. Your neutral has to be good. You gotta know what to do in disadvantage, and you gotta have, you gotta go into training mode. You gotta practice your combos. There's a
Yeah.
fifth one there, and it's having composure.
And nobody talks
You
about that.
you can hit your combo 100 times in a row, both player one side, player two side in training mode. Good luck doing it when you're angry at that Axel player who's been ranging you for the past 30 seconds. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And that's it's I feel like it's criminally underlooked.
Very much so.
And I feel like that's just because, fighting game, comes from this culture of just like, I mean, it's a pretty good parallel to like fighting sports, just in a mental sense of like, if I win, I'm really good and I can talk shit, and if I lose, I'm getting flamed. And it's even worse if like you stream and like you lose and you got your entire Twitch chat, man, this guy sucks, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. And just in the way that like you can lose and get something out of it. Like, man, I lost, but I anti-I'd that bitch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play. If I play 5 more games against this guy, I bet I go 0-5. But I bet you I'm not gonna miss that anti-air again. And that can feel really good. But you can also like win with absolutely no substance in the same regard of like, man, I won, but I dropped my combo every single time, and like he jumped in on me and like I blocked it, but like I know I can anti-air there.
Yeah.
And then those are things that you go, okay, I'm not fantastic at those parts. That's when you go into training mode. You get your basic, you get your poke, you get your anti-air, maybe a combo or two, and then you go online, you play for however long, and then you go, I'm really struggling against this. And then you go onto Dustloop, you go onto whatever site has test frame data, or, you go into training mode and you go, this guy, what did they do? What was that move? Let me see. Let me set the
Yeah, let me
dummy
look this up.
dummy to be that move. Is that punishable? Okay, I can't punish it with my S. Maybe my 5P will work. Oh, it does? Fantastic. I know what to do against that character now.
Yeah.
And so you can, I mean, it's said all the time over and over, like you gain a lot from losing, but it really is true.
Yeah.
Because even like mentally, when you win, you go, if you made 15 mistakes and you won the game, it is harder for your brain to go, I made mistakes. But if you made one mistake and you lost, you know what you did wrong.
Yeah.
Um, and that's, I mean, I've kind of been rambling for a moment now, but
It's
that's
a very
like,
big proponent. Yeah.
yeah,
And like if I can just like going on more about like those sort of empty list wins and like talking about that a tiny bit more. That's sort of the I guess feeling that you get when like you're trying to teach someone like fighting game or anything. It's always like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go in this. I know for a fact I'm gonna win. I don't really have to try hard. And then it's like, oh well, even though I'm trying to like do this to teach this person, it's less like Or it's more like a, oh man, this is, I don't really have to do anything here because I'm just like trying to teach. And it's like you can still gain something out of like teaching that new person. Like I say this time and time again, but like the relationship of the hammer and the nail should never be like one-sided. Like sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, and like sometimes even if you are the hammer, you have to like be in the mindset of like the nail, or like maybe just like even think like, okay, cool. Let's say I know I'm like marginally better than this person. Like I know exactly what to do, what not to do. Maybe I can use this time to like try and go into like a new combo route or something, or like see like experiment more in a live setting that like a training dummy or like going online doesn't necessarily give you. But since you're playing with someone who's like, oh, not as good, or like maybe like just still not on the same like skill ceiling or skill floor, you can, it's like, oh, okay, I can still use this opportunity of like teaching a person to learn so that they can eventually get to that level and we're still like on the same wavelength, you know?
I mean, yeah, definitely. That's a huge part of it, I think. And there's like a lot of people. It's the same type of people that will be like, I don't need to focus on my mental. I don't blame my opponent for me losing. That'll be like, I don't need to fight lower players. That's not how you improve. And it is. It's not one-sided.
Yeah.
You can go, okay, let me try this new combo, or hey, they're playing a character I don't have the best experience about. What happens when I hit this button in reaction to that button? And that not only helps the both of you, but it also kind of levels the playing field.
Very
Like
much.
if you're, uh, and then maybe they take a game off of you, and then that's something you gotta. In the same way that you gotta reward yourself for the small victories. Man, I lost. I went 0-2, but I did anti-air them, and I didn't do that before. That's huge. It's the same thing when you win. You gotta be like, I used to not win before. And even though I made all these mistakes and I'm gonna go into training mode and try to fix those, I won. And that's something that you can feel good about.
Yeah.
Um, because at the end of the game, at the end of the day, you picked up the game for whatever.
A myriad of
Like,
different
what is
reasons.
Tekken 8's like $70 now?
Yeah, I've
Get
gifted
out
it
of
to
here.
like what, 5 people now? Ooh.
Can you make it 6? Make that me next? I'm kidding.
Alright, sure, I'm done. I said I would do it for like one more person, so sure.
Sick. Because I do want to try Tekken, but scary, and I don't exactly have $70 on me right now.
Yeah.
But like, now you're paying $70 for a game, and anybody who's actually paying themselves for a game is going to work, and like I get out at 9 p.m. personally. Like I'm trying to have fun when I get on, and for me personally, learning is the fun of it, and for anybody that actually wants to get into a fighting game, you have to make learning the fun of it. And if you're listening and you go, "Oh, that's not me. I don't feel like I can have fun, getting beaten up and losing it, but trying and learning from that." A, there are some cheaper games out, and I think that maybe you should try it at the very least. But if you know that's not for you, then certain genres aren't for certain people. Like I know
Yeah.
for a fact that I don't enjoy traditional shooters all that much. So when a new Call of Duty comes out, or like a new Battlefield, I know I don't want to play it.
Yeah.
So I don't, and then I have a good time playing Street Fighter. Um, and that's another thing too, is a lot of people will be like, the new Mortal Kombat came out. And I played Mortal Kombat 5 when I was 6 years old. So I gotta pick up the new Mortal Kombat. And then they go on, they play online, they have a bad time, they complain about Twitter, and they review bomb it. Nobody gets anything from that interaction.
Yeah.
Besides, like, the developer gets your $60 or whatever. Because, like, you don't have any fun. The person that you're playing against probably isn't having any fun. The people who are getting, you getting angry over it, the people that are reading your stuff getting angry over it, you're not painting anything in a good light. And of course, the people that actually enjoy the games that you're, you know,
Yeah, nobody
being angry,
wins.
yeah, nobody wins. It's like if I, went off and I picked up like I don't, another genre that I don't like is I'm not too big into like single player games.
Hmm.
Like big scenery ones too, which were like, I know they're really good and they'll probably win Game of the Year, but
Last of Us. Ugh. Ooh. Excuse me, that's
Like,
something in my throat.
I know that I don't enjoy those games, so like for me to pick it up, play it, you know, spend $60 on it, play it for however long it takes, let's just say 30 hours, and then go and say this game sucks, I didn't like it. Because you didn't like it doesn't mean it sucks.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to mushrooms, but I'm not going to tell you that a nice mushroom stew is awful just because I don't like it. And the same sort of thing applies.
Yeah. And I feel like getting. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was ending.
Oh, I feel like sort of understanding that point of like, oh, I might not like this thing, but I can still like recognize that like, oh, maybe this is for something, like maybe this is good, and I'm just like not a fan of it. Is very hard for a lot of people, especially like in fighting games, because it's, oh, okay, you have something like the big three. You have like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken, and then it's like you play a bunch of Street Fighters. You try and pick up the new one, and then it's like, oh, this isn't the game that I grew up with back in like 1992, where it was like honest footsies and none of this like drive, medium kick, drive rush, unga bunga. Like, this isn't the game I grew up with, and this game
I
is
mean, I
bad.
kind of agree with him, but I get it.
That's. I mean, I don't like 1,000% agree with like the whole like honest footsies thing, but like I'm at the same time also not like a big fan of like this like sort of movement into being more aggressive. Like, eh,
It's something people like to see aggression.
yeah,
That's what it is, really. People don't like to see two people block all day, and especially now that like you're getting sponsors involved. Like if I'm a company that if I'm an energy drink company, because fighting gamers love their energy drinks,
yeah,
they're fiends. And I go, okay, I'm gonna invest in a game to really promote my brand. Am I gonna invest in honest footsies and block the game, or am I gonna invest in super ultra guilty gear, everybody gets an RC every 2 seconds? Who's watching what more?
yeah,
Which, you can say it's good for the fighting game community, you can say it's bad for the fighting game community. There's arguments on both sides, and I think it's not so black and white. But um I mean, I know that the reason that the reason that I play Street Fighter personally, I'm not gonna say that that's the right way, I'm not gonna say it's the wrong way. Um, I play it so that I can throw a fireball and anti-air when somebody jumps over it, and that's why I play. That's
yeah.
why I play Street Fighter.
That good old honest 1999 Ultra Turbo Street
Yeah,
Fighter 2 has God
but
intended.
now that I've put more than like, I think I'm getting to like 20 hours on Street Fighter 6. I haven't played for too long.
Hmm.
I played the other Guilty Gears plenty. I played Third Strike. I played Ibuki. Um,
Hey, shouts.
but now that I'm kind of into it, I can go. Oh, I can do like a like a late kick poke into drive rush, and then get my target combo into. I play Ken, so my moveset is broken.
Yeah, carried.
And then that's why I picked him. um, and yeah. Actually, you said carried, which I'm not gonna lie, I am. But that's a good point, and I want to focus on tier lists. If you're a new player or an intermediate player, tier lists apply to like top 64 of Evo. That's what tier lists are for. They're like, okay, what can this character do at peak? So a lot of people put a lot of stock into tier lists, and I don't think they should.
Yeah,
Um, I don't think they should. I think they should play who's fun, and there's kind of two sides of it. Oh, I'm gonna pick this character because they're broken and they're gonna do really well. Well, good luck. You just picked up this game, and that character has like a gajillion different options. Or they'll be like, I'm gonna play a low tier because I don't want to be carried, and then they're hard stuck floor 5 because they just picked up the game.
yeah,
And I'm gonna. So I mean, if you want to play that character, I would say go for it. Endure or steamroll, depending on who you picked. But I don't think that the tier list itself should be the reason. I feel like a lot of people would be like, will either like reject entire tools that they have because they don't want to be associated with being a zoner, or like they don't want to, play a character that's perceived as strong because they might get flamed. And to be honest, Twitter's mean.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, people put a lot of stock into tier lists, and I mean it's fun, especially when the tier lists aren't competitive. If you just make a tier list on who's more likely to drink tea over coffee, that's a fun tier list.
Yeah.
But this character is S tier because they recently got buffed, and I think they're gonna do really well in Evo. Should not affect somebody who's new to the game. It shouldn't affect somebody who's thinking of picking up a DLC character, or even somebody who's in the middle of a character crisis. I would say don't look at a tier list at all. Don't even look it up out of curiosity. It's only, I feel like it only hurts. Yeah, I feel like it just only hurts you, not even in like long run or short run. It's just like eventually you're gonna be like, man, I should have played X character, or maybe you do stick with the character that you played, but you were playing a high tier, and guess what? They nerfed him.
Yeah. I actually
Rest
wanted
in
to bring
peace,
that
my
up.
Zato players.
I actually really wanted to bring that up, how like you said tier lists shouldn't really hold any stock, and it's like, oh, if someone's in a character crisis, they pick up a high tier. There's a very high likely chance that like, if a developer is like worth their salt, or if they want to like see any sort of change, which should be like, both the point of like balance patching and everything, but like, you know, a very good developer, they'll see like a very oppressive high tier, and then it's like, okay, cool, everybody's going to play it. We have to like do something like sort of change this. And as like Guilty Gear players, we've been sort of like seeing this like ever since he came out. I think like the first year of the game's lifespan, like Happy Chaos. That man has been like ever so subtly getting dumbed down like more and more to the point of like we still need to try and make him fun, and we still need to try and make like his gimmicks and everything like very much a tool, and like nothing that feels gimmicky, if that makes sense.
Mm.
It's like, oh, we need to make sure like the gimmick is still like fun, but it is also powerful, but we need to make it like not too powerful to the point where it is a oppressive, like just straight win button. I'm gonna do my thing. You can't play your game. GG's, shake my hand, give me my $1 million. And that was very much like that first. I think it was like what, season two? I want to say. I'm not like my memory, like it's not like there 1,000%, but like whatever season that was when Happy Chaos like came out, and like he was just steamrolling through everything. You couldn't really get out of like a tournament without like at least seeing like seven of them like back to back. Like,
I think Happy Chaos won both Evos for Strife so far, if I'm not mistaken.
cause it was Umisho that won the 2022 one, right?
Yeah,
Or
I think Umisho has one, and I think Leffen have one, and they both took it with Happy Chaos.
yeah,
I could be wrong,
cause Leffen has 23. I know that's for certain, cause I was there like watching it,
because that's my
and
boy.
no, I you have no idea. Like I was dying of laughter when they did that crowd pan shot and nobody is clapping for Leffen. I was like absolutely I was like in tears.
If
But
I was there, I would have been cheering. I would have been clapping. I would have had the Swedish flag up. I would have been on my
uh
tippy toes. Oh man,
but God,
I'm a villain. I don't care.
I forgot my point. Um yeah, I forgot my point. Damn it. No, okay. Umi and Umi Leffen and Happy Chaos. Like you have to strike like a thing of balance where you don't make a character too oppressive. You don't make a character like really like stupid and gimmicky, because like in the Street Fighter sense, you get like really oppressive characters like JP, DJ, Jerry, Manon, or whoa, not Manon. That's the low tier. That's my low tier goddess. Um, and then like on that other like end of the spectrum, you get like very gimmicky characters like Jamie, Manon, what's the other one? Lily, like characters who like rely way too heavily on their gimmick, and that's like make them bad. And then you get like other characters who gimmick is so strong that like they they just like suppressed the entire like other 60% of the cast.
Yeah. The thing about since we're talking about like balance patches and like buffs and nerfs, is that a fighting game developer, first of all, let's just start with they don't owe you a single thing. You
Yeah.
already paid your $60 and you're buying the DLC.
Yeah.
They don't care. Um, but it's about developer intention, is what needs to get patched. And most of the time, the developer wants the game to be balanced. Hooray! And
Indeed.
while a lot of the time that those do go hand on hand, it's not the same. I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's not fair, it's not balanced," and it's just like maybe sometimes that's just not what the game is necessarily going for. And I would not be surprised. A lot of people want to be like X developer's bad because X character is broken.
Yeah.
But like if we take Happy Chaos for example, I would not be 100% surprised if Arxis has been sitting there for the past 2 years going, "What do we do about Happy Chaos?" without gutting him, making him feel absolutely horrible, dropping him all the way down, and making him feel unfun. Because that's really hard to do, and it's like especially if you look at like when you play a character, you want to feel like that character, right? So like if you take Sin, like he has all of these tools, and it feels really fun to go in with him now that he's not like a garbage low tier like he was when he first released.
Yeah.
Like it's really fun to go in with him, but like you're playing a 5-year-old. Sometimes you can get a little overzealous and boom, all of your meter is gone and you have no resources and then you get pile drive. That's what it feels like. That's like a textbook example of what it feels like to play as the character that you're actually playing as.
Yeah.
And so if you look at a character like Happy Chaos, arguably canonically one of the stronger characters in the entire game, you want to feel like you're really strong and you have a bunch of options and you have an answer to everything. Unfortunately, for game balance, you end up with 2 Evo wins.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of hard to strike that balance if you're a developer to be like, he has all of these tools and he's meant to have an answer for everything, but he's also winning a whole bunch and people don't like that aspect of it. And so
It's very hard to
that's
do. Yeah.
yeah.
Especially because you
Like,
can. Or sorry, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
Uh, I was going to say, especially because like you can sort of get to like that fork in the road, and then like there's also that third option of like you can have a character like Asuka who like okay when Happy Chaos first dropped, or I'm gonna like sort of speak from like a tiny bit of experience. When Happy
Mhm.
Chaos like first dropped, I wanted to play him a tiny bit, but like couldn't understand like how to get the full benefit of like the whole shooting mechanic and everything. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. When Asuka dropped, I knew for a fact I wasn't gonna touch that, both because of the like zoner archetype and everything, but like also because of the like big character complexity and like what that whole learning curve meant for that character in specific. And I feel like how you were saying, oh, you can have a like very simple character with simple tool sets, and those simple tool sets are strong because they're simple and easy to use, just like Sin. You have more marginally stronger characters who are in lore and universe. They're very strong and supposed to have an answer, but obviously you have to tone that down. And you then get like characters like Asuka who are still very much in those like really big like oh I'm like the grand I'm essentially second to God himself because like I used to hang out with him at the frat parties, but I'm also a really big nerd, so I have to like make sure all of my calculations and everything are like up to par and up to snuff, and I gotta make Einstein look like a like 5-year-old toddler. Like
You're
there,
describing Batman, not Oscar.
nah, I think Bedman is very easy.
I'm talking about the character himself, obviously.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right.
Being unable to see something and being unable to track something with your eye is not the equivalent statement. Get out of
Don't.
here, man.
God, I don't like. I can't stand Bedman and
I love
Absurd.
him. I love Batman because he's me.
Like what a nerd.
Yeah, no, I sometimes my ass cannot shut up.
Yeah, malevolent yapper.
Yeah. Um, And yeah, like I play Asuka. Not well, but I play.
Hmm.
I love playing Magic the Gathering, the character. That's what he is.
More power to you. I've
Um,
never.
but like, doesn't he literally have like card game in his DLC page?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, but like that's a good balance, but that's not like, and that's because they gave him like it. They tried their best to give him the worst defense in the game.
Yeah.
He loses resources for blocking. He loses resources for getting hit. He has 1 DP out of 90 cards. And that's something of like I think they might have learned their lesson with Happy Chaos of like before this character comes out, what can we do to just like make them feel unstoppable on offense? You ever get a speed thing out and then switch to deck 3 and just like, oh, the game's over.
I wish I could
um
relate.
um so but like at the same time, I lost round start. Let's start looking at round 2. That's like Asuka is like you have the highest highs and the lowest lows, it feels like. Whereas Happy Chaos, not so much. She has the highest highs and the highest highs, and
Yeah.
that's the end of that discussion.
Highest
I
lows,
feel
highest
like
highs.
the most recent nerf seems to have helped a decent amount though, as well as buffing up other characters.
Yeah.
Because I was watching the top 8 Frosties, and I was watching Leffen play Happy Chaos, and I was like, he is still really good, but like, man, I can see how this character has to play a little bit differently
Yeah.
now.
You can sort of tell something's up.
Like, he's a mid block string, and he just has to let it go because he ran out of resources. That's something Happy Chaos really didn't have to used to do. Um, Whereas like that pressure is like if I like going from watching like peak chaos to season 3 chaos is just kind of like what happens. You
Yeah.
used to be like you used to be able to just like kill somebody by just touching them, and of course he still has like 5H, which is annoying.
Yeah.
But like it's different, and it's visual. And of course the end game was Sin versus Elfel. So I think we're taking a step in the right direction in that area. And that was also like a small change. I think they nerfed his focus meter
Yeah.
to kind of like they also changed Eddie meter and now he's Z tier. My poor Zato mains. Um
I know.
but
Pouring one out.
yeah, that's the sort of change of like you don't have to change the most crazy thing. You just I don't even think I could be wrong. I didn't pay too much attention to the patch notes, but I don't even think they changed any frame data. I think they just kind of messed with his meter, and that put him in a spot where I can be like, oh, he's starting to struggle in tournament.
Or I'm sorry. I'm looking up like the season 3 patch notes right now just to confirm. Cause I
Mm.
don't. I remember like being there the night that they dropped, and I was like skimming through everything. Like I don't remember if they did. If they didn't, then cool. If they did, then oh well. But the point still stands. Like a huge change doesn't really need to be made in order to like knock a character down a peg or two, because like it's ultimately like everything's gonna balance itself out, like in the grander scheme of things,
Mm.
especially for like modern games that like we're sort of in the era of now that are getting like constant balance like updates, always getting like some sort of new content, or if you're not getting new content, you're getting like a release of new content or like a roadmap or something. Like there's always going to be like some sort of like chance of something getting changed, and if there isn't going to be that change, you're getting notified that like a change is imminent. Like I know Street Fighter 6, it's I think it was like either 6 months to like a year of balance like patches or like balance changes. So like for a whole 6 months, which is like a millennia for like a game's lifespan, Like sometimes we're not getting any sort of change to any meta or anything unless it's like something super crazy and groundbreaking, and we're not gonna get like really big changes until like I think what June of this year, which is like kind of wild. But everything's going to sort of like self-regulate itself out like in the long like run, and even if it doesn't, we still have like that year-long balance patch, so like Capcom can just look at all of the stuff that's been going on for a year, and then it's like, all right, cool, we see that 10 has been a like major issue from release to this entire year of like tournaments and everything going on. We should change
No,
that.
he's not. Don't tell Capcom.
No, no,
Please.
I don't know. No, we get rid of Ken. Get rid of Ken.
Get
He's
rid of him.
Get rid of him. He's a hobo and
He's not a
he's
hobo. He's on the run.
no, he's a crypto scam nerd. He put his money in NFTs and like got his dude like justice for it. Or however like those comics went. I was like skimming through them. But nah, get rid of Ken. Get rid of DJ. Get rid of Cammy. Get rid of all of them. Just bring back the entire cast of SF3. That's what I want to see.
Mm. You know, Street Fighter 3 did have Ken.
Get rid of him.
As Daigo Umehara will
Yeah, he'll remind my ass.
constantly remind you.
Uh,
It's crazy what they be doing to Justin Wong.
no, it's actually insane.
And dude, like every time I'm on Twitter and like anything gets posted anytime about the Rule 37, Moment 37, he's just like, dude, please, bro.
Did you see the in December there was like the Ninja gingerbread cookies? I don't know if you saw that one, but
Uh,
I need to see if I can like pull up a picture of it. Or actually, I know I can like probably find the tweet somewhere. I just gotta like scroll for a while. But that was like probably like the funniest one to date, in my opinion, because it was just so out. It was so out the blue, out of like random. Like, great. Now I'm like brain farting trying to find this.
mm.
Uh,
I feel like we're getting a little off topic.
yeah. What were we talking about again?
Something. We
Uh,
were talking about something. Oh, nerfing characters and like roadmaps
okay,
and
yeah.
updates.
Um, either way, like I feel like we're in a really good era of like fighting games right now. Like back in the day, or I don't want to say back in the day because like A, I was barely conscious for it, and B, I wasn't like really there to begin with. But like I've heard stories of like you would just sort of have to like hold whatever was happening, and you have to like pray for a title update or something, and like hope it gets changed. And if it didn't, you have to like sit with that for like another like 2 or 3 years until another update or like a whole new game drops. Like if you have an issue with something, you can just like mass like tweet at a developer and then be like, "Oh, X, Y, and Z is broken. You need to change it." Even though it's like a very stupid thing to like do, you still have that like ability to do it. And like sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Other times you get like instances of Big Papa Harada,
Mm.
and I think that's how a whole lot of developers should do it. Like, shut up and don't ask me for anything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's. I feel like fighting games are definitely in a healthy spot right now. Whereas like they were kind of messy even like a couple of years ago. Like
Oh yeah.
if you remember like 2016 to like 2019, 2020,
Oh yeah.
it was so much like fighting games should have good single player. Why? Or like, you know, developers don't understand and like they're getting rid of our one frame links. And like all of the depth is going missing, and some of that's true. Some of that did happen.
Yeah.
Um but at the same time, it I mean, yeah, like a lot of stuff happened and like a lot of changes were made for like sponsors that don't really care.
That or just lowering the like skill floor or
Yeah.
like just lowering the skill floor and skill ceiling. Also, I finally found the gingerbread thing that I was talking about.
For
Yeah.
Justin
Um,
Wong can't even go Christmas shopping anymore.
no, he can't do anything. Like, I feel like he'll just like step outside and it'll just be like a big poster of like,
I was I was watching a video from Justin Wong where he was playing Street Fighter Third Strike, and anytime he hit a super, he'd be like, "You're not Daigo," and then he
yeah.
would hit a super, and they would start parrying, and you could see the PTSD in his eyes as they parried his hits.
God, I think he has like a Street Fighter 3 like series where I think every character has parried it, or like a majority of the characters, if I'm not mistaken. I know I saw the one with like Sean, Necro, Urian, the other Sean and Yun. Either Yang or Yun. It was one of the twins. I think there might be more. If there is, then like, oh well, like I haven't seen a Justin Wong like I haven't seen a video from him in like a while,
Yeah.
which kind of blows. I need to like get back into that.
Um. But yeah, I feel like fighting games are really in a good spot now, and especially now that we're getting like new versions of like. It seems that things are either like returning to form or they're in a like a good spot. Um, and like I mentioned at the very beginning of this episode, we're getting new versions of legacy games finally. Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I think that the new Under Night game, I mean,
Had a rocky
like
start.
Guilty Gear didn't even hasn't gotten like a new game, but it's constantly getting DLCs. We just got Alpha out. We're gonna get a new one in like March.
We still have like two more, right?
Yeah, two more for season. I hope we get a season 4.
We're probably going to get a season four. If
Please,
anything,
please put Daryl in the game. I need him.
that's not happening. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. If we don't get ABBA within like season three, if we don't get ABBA or Gem, then like I can never play the game
I
again. I'm
I
sorry.
actually made a tier list on who's most likely to get into the game.
What's your top five?
Or my let me pull it up. Um, but I might. Yeah. So my top five. They were split into different tiers, and I'll send it to you.
All right.
But the lock was Dizzy. Like Dizzy's getting in no matter what. And then the next three, these were all kind of in the same tier of like Jam Slayer, ABBA.
Yeah.
And those are like all the ones that like those could get in, and I feel like my tier list is 100% correct. Um, and then I have like a maybe tier that's like Raven, Venom, President Vernon, Zappa, Answer, and Gabriel.
I don't think Zappa will ever see the light of day again. I'm gonna be so real.
One can hope.
Yeah.
Not me, I don't care, but
Yeah.
somebody can. Um, but yeah, that's
Honestly, this feels like if Guilty Gear were to get another DLC like pack and it was like let's say like the top like other four you have here like ABBA, Raven, what is Venom, and then like Vernon. I'd be fine with this. Vernon
yeah.
probably not so much because like eh.
He has a cyborg arm. What are you talking about?
I mean yeah, but like
Imagine if he had a football projectile though.
I don't know.
Now you're getting on board. I
No,
can hear it.
nah,
I can
nah.
feel it.
Swap Vernon out for like I want to see a guest character. That's
I don't want to see a guest character for Guilty Gear, honestly.
really.
No, it's Guilty Gear is a series for me that's like it's very story driven, and like I like to see how the characters like change and evolve as the story goes on. Tell me how the fuck they're gonna put Kiryu from fucking Tekken into the story of Guilty
I
Gear.
mean, whoa. I'm saying we keep it more realistic, more in the bounds of possibility, right? Give me
I could have
Rock.
thrown out any character. I just said a character in any
Oh,
fighting game.
I mean, you can pull like the Undernight route and then just be like, oh, okay, these characters are sort of like taken from a specific point in time, or like either that or like they know the fact that they're like in some fighting game or anything. Like, I know Eltum, like, she knows for a fact that she's in, like, a video game and will constantly break the fourth wall, and then Akatsuki's like, that man is living by, like, the skin of his teeth because we're never getting another Akatsuki Bliss Tam, so it's like, alright, cool, I've just, like, been cryo-frozen and woken up after, like, 150 years of, like, whatever business is going on in that game series.
Um, yeah, it doesn't feel very Guilty Gear to me. Is why I don't want one. I mean, if we got one and they're cool, like I'm all for cool fighting game things, but like, and it's especially hard because like it's so easy to take like the I'm gonna say the Smash Brothers route, but like
Oh, yeah.
we're like, okay, we want a character from Street Fighter. We're just gonna get the main character, and
Yeah.
then like that's really sucky. And so like your options are like Ryu, Ken, uh,
Chun-Li Luke. That's like, or if we're talking like modern
yeah,
Street Fighter, that's like really all you can like play off of. Because like,
yeah,
realistically speaking, Jamie does not have the same like backing power of like someone like Ken.
yeah.
Like Sakura
But
and
get those two off of the top of my character select.
like who
Luke and
Or
Jamie.
Sakura and Ken, or
Put Ryu and Ken back up there. Where they
nah,
belong.
nah.
What do you mean, nah?
I'm gonna be so real. I don't like any of the World Warriors. Like, or not like any of the World Warriors, but like
Wow.
they've done their time, they've done their piece. We've had two different new generations, and you're telling me half of the roster is still from like the Street Fighter 2 era? That's crazy.
I love that. I'm pretty sure the entire Street Fighter 2 original roster got back in. I
Yeah, they
love
all
that.
did. I,
I'm a huge fan of that.
I think like the only characters that were missing from like that era are like Fei Long, Birdie,
Vega isn't in here.
yeah, Vega, Bison, who
Like
else?
the original Street Fighter 2 8 are all in there, and I love
Yeah,
that. I love most of their new designs.
they're not bad. Don't get me
Like
wrong, but
top
like,
top of my head, I can't think of a new design that I hate. I really like Cammy's new design. Uh, Ryu's like clothing design is pretty cool. I like it. I like it all.
I would have rather liked them as like DLC or something,
Wow,
or like
that's
space them
no,
out.
that's insane. No, you're crazy.
Cause okay, let me cook, let
No,
me cook, let me cook.
no, no.
Hear me out, please, please.
I've never seen somebody so confident that their L take is correct.
What do you mean L take? Let me cook, please.
All
Can I?
right, go ahead, Cook.
Okay, so just like how I said before, we've had two different generations of like new generations of characters, right?
Hmm.
We've had the 6 era, which is like doing and faring way better than like 3S, right? Which I feel like it's because they like actually learned what they wanted to see in like characters and everything, and like know exactly like what to do in terms of like making characters likable and like also on the like moveset department. So we already have, I think it's like what not 18's like the full roster. I forget how many is like all of the newcomers. Uh like Lily, or hold on. Lily, Jamie, Luke, technically, no, fuck, whatever. There's a, I think like what, like 6 or 7 characters that are like completely brand new to Street Fighter 6, right? We have all of the characters from like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, a couple of my favorites, Ibuki, Makoto, Dudley, Alex, like Sean. We already have had like a lot of characters that have been like filling out the archetypes that like the main 8 have been like moving on and doing for like a while. We don't need them anymore because we've already had like renditions of their characters done over and over again. So what you can do, right, is like lore wise, oh okay, cool. Ryu's been training Sakura for a while. Now she plays like she still has her like same Sakura stuff, her same like crazy like rush down mix stuff that she used to have in like Street Fighter 4, but she can also play a more like grounded game like your old school Ryu. It's sort of like how I don't want to say Tekken because I don't like. I'm still very much like learning Tekken, but like going from Tekken 7 to Tekken 8, everyone they all got new stuff, but like they still very much feel like newer renditions of characters that have been like evolving on throughout like the ages. And I feel like it
Mm.
would be nice to pass that torch on and like, all right, cool. We don't have any more Ryu, we don't have any more Ken, but we have Sakura. We got like if you want to play a more grounded game, we have like oh, if you want to play a more like rushdown game like Ken, we get Luke. If you want to do something like in between, you get Sean, who's like still they still have their own identity and they're still a bit nutty, but they also have like remnants of old. Like, oh, you
There's
want
no
like
way that you're recommending getting rid of Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter.
bro, I don't say
There's
like
no way. It's
I don't say like
impossible.
a thousand
It's
percent
actually
get. I
impossible.
don't say get rid of them in its entirety, but like maybe have them be like DLC or something, or like show up and like be more story prominent characters. Just not like have them take a back seat. Let the kids drive home. Like let them get their chance to breathe. Cause like they've been like the main focal point for like what 2 3 decades by this point.
I'd
Like
agree with you if we were talking about Guilty Gear. I really would.
I
I think Soul Bad Guy can, he's actually done. They finished his
Yeah,
story in
he's
Strive.
gone.
The next game, we can have Sin. That's the main character.
I feel like it wouldn't be like entirely just Sin.
Soul seemed to retire. Kai gave up his mantle as King of Illyria.
Like
You know,
yeah, I feel like it would have to be like just like how I'm proposing. Like instead of having just Ryu and Ken, you would have to like split their roles up between like the other Shotokan kids or like the new Shotokan generation. I feel like you'd have to split up like those two characters into like more. I remember seeing a theory about it where it was like, oh, all of the new Valentine kids and everything, or like the whole like Illyrian family, they're all supposed to be like getting the traits and everything down, and they're supposed to like, I think, um, not Jacko, Ram was supposed to represent like the soul's humanity and whatnot. Elfo was supposed to be like his love of music, and then like Sin was supposed to be like more of like that Kaiki side, and still like have a lot of Dizzy's like loving, nurturing nature and everything. Like, I feel like that'd be good. Or I feel like it is good.
never forget what they stole from you. And it's
What?
just a picture. And it's just a picture of um accent core Kai 6H.
I'm so glad I didn't play Accent Core.
I miss accent core 6H more than certain dead relatives.
That's. I don't want
It's
to
so
say
good.
that's under or respectable, but like I understand it.
Man. But we're starting to divert a bit from
A bit.
oh yeah, we've
Yeah,
diverted by
yeah.
a lot
This is
from
all.
the whole like have you considered getting good at video games?
Yeah.
Now we're so I mean,
This is a whole different episode at this point. Shit.
yeah, I was about to say I don't know if you would like edit this and we can just like record a short outro or
No,
whatever.
I just throw this up raw. Whatever happens,
No, so,
happens.
so we're just spinning this. Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's good. It's good to clear out the air.
So there's this really informational like hour and a half of content, and then just 20 minutes of us talking absolute bullshit.
It's not. Hey, you gotta have something to like fill out the space. Like
Yeah,
no man can sit through a 6 hour class without like at least a 20-minute break.
real.
Yeah.
And that's why I read One Piece for 2 hours of my entire shift.
That's just just watch like One Piece. That's what I
I
do.
do watch One Piece, but I
Oh,
also
okay.
read it
Oh, really? Okay.
because it's easier to read it on my breaks at work.
Yeah, that's fair.
In the
Reading.
past in the past 2 weeks, I think I've done like 150 chapters.
Oh no, where are you at right now?
I'm finishing up Whole Cake.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, I'm getting close. I'm getting close to caught up. I know Wano takes forever, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Wano takes like more than like a year. Jesus. Didn't it take like I think like what like a month and a half for like Luffy to punch Kaido once, if memory serves right? I know it was like a
yeah,
ridiculously long time.
and that's why we watch One Piece or read because The anime pacing is horrendous.
Yeah. This is why I just barely even watch One Piece. I like caught up and was like, all right, cool. Whatever happens at this point happens. I have not touched anything from Egghead Island like at all. And like I know
I hear it's getting crazy.
well, good for them. I know the anime just got to that point, and I can't wait for another like 4 years of like Egghead Island and like going through that.
I feel like it's gonna be a shorter arc. I don't feel like it's gonna be as long as Wano.
I don't know.
I feel like it'll be more of like a not as short as Zoe, but like a bit kind of like more of an in between arc.
I don't know. Cause didn't Oda say like it was this and like a couple more things, and then like he was gonna finish up?
Honestly, I hope it lasts much longer. Not because like, oh, I want it to last forever, but like if you man, we are really diverting.
Yeah,
But
no, we're
like
diverting, but I don't care.
but like if you look at like One Piece and like all of the emperors and like all of the warlords and so many other pirates have gone like X far into the Grand Line and then they need to go back for something and like the Straw Hat Crew's done nothing but go forward. I hope there's an arc where there's just like a really big problem in like Fishman Island and because Luffy was like, yeah, this is mine, he has to go back and save it or whatever.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
That's me.
That would be nice, but I feel like that's like more content that I feel like would go into something like a movie. Like Film Red or like Film Gold or something. I don't know.
At least make it a canonical movie though, you know?
Yeah.
Like not like the other movies aren't canon.
I thought Film Red was canon.
No.
Really? That's wild.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not real.
Damn. Shout out to I forget her name, but it's like Usagi or something. I don't know. I'm not even a One Piece fan. I don't know why we're talking about this.
Yeah. Dude, you gotta cut this. You
Nah,
gotta cut the One Piece talk.
I'm not cutting it. I'm not cutting it.
No.
We're leaving it in.
All right. Well, this feels like a good time to put out an outro before we start talking 20 minutes about something else.
Yeah.
Um.
Mental is very important. It's a very important aspect that never gets talked about.
Yeah, that is what we were talking about
Yeah.
15 minutes ago, right? Yeah.
Do you have any like final remarks or anything you want to like say about it, or like any final like talking points?
Yeah. So I think overall when it comes to it's a skill. It's like anything else, and it's a hard one. You really have to work on it. But again, if you're somebody new that's listening in and you just got through that slog of information that had nothing to do with fighting games for the most part, on a practical sense at the very least.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that you got to focus on. And I would say take it slow. You don't have to be very good at everything else. You don't need your 32 hit combo in order to start playing online and have a good time. Every game has like rollback and every game has like skill-based matchmaking nowadays where it's very easy to do that. And if you can't find somebody online or like nobody has a good connection, Discord is a great place to go. And even if you're an intermediate player, everything, I feel like even up to like I feel like almost every game and like every skill level can apply some part of what I said, and you're never going to be perfect at anything. That's not how perfection works. And you know, there's always something to improve at. And it's always what's the next step? I'm not there. How do I get there? And of course, as you start to improve, there's less things that you can like easily improve on. Of like, I need to start working on anti-airs. You don't do a top 8 player doesn't have to worry about that. And those are all like important things to think about. And if you're a lower or intermediate player, or you're somebody who's just curious about this topic or what we've been talking about, Am I allowed to plug my Discord?
Yeah, I was gonna ask like before we ended if there was anything you wanted to plug, like a Twitter or socials or whatnot.
My Twitter's high key unhinged. I'm not gonna plug that.
All right. This is why we
yeah.
make burners.
Yeah. Well, don't worry about it.
All right.
My Discord is going to be Shiro underscore 3051. That's Shiro underscore 3051. And you can hit me up for my DMs are open. You can hit me up for any sort of practical help, training, whatever game you want help with. Currently, I have Guilty Gear and Street Fighter, but I'll look to get more. And of course, I
And
can
Tekken.
provide.
Don't forget Tekken. I did say I was gonna slide that your way after this.
Apparently, I have Tekken now, so if
Yeah.
you want Tekken help, I'm on it. Um, but yeah, I promise I won't bite you or anything. I really think that the best thing for the fighting game community is letting more people in. And if you're new, if you're one of the people that said I never played Tekken before, but Tekken 8 just came out and I want to try it, or I've never played Street Fighter before, but people say Street Fighter 6 is really good. Uh, the community is gonna welcome you with open arms. There are some great resources out there. A lot of people don't want to play fighting games. You know, the sun is in their eyes or whatever. I say you just gotta jump in. Fighting games are some of the best things that is one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I've met some of the best people. I've gained friendships. You know, sometimes I've lost friendships. I've cried. I've laughed. It's so good, and it's kind of like being the main character in your own little shonen adventure.
Wait, you lost friendships? Damn. Who did you wake up DP on someone like too many times and they were just like, I can't like fuck with you anymore?
That's
Story for another day.
yeah, that's a
All right,
story for another
yeah,
day.
story for another day.
Yeah, I also if you're a masochist and you play Smash, I'll help you out with that too.
Seek
Really,
professional help
really,
actually.
yeah, probably. If you play Daikianta, I can maybe dig out a ditch that you can go and die in. But yeah, I think once again, my Discord is Shiro underscore 3051. You can hit me up. And of course, if you enjoyed this, I would recommend doing whatever it is you boost up you do to boost up podcasts. You know, recommend it to a friend, share it. I'm sure the algorithm likes it or something. I'm not sure how podcasts work. I'm just a
Yeah.
guess.
I like just throw it out to as many people as possible, and then like they sort of do all the work, which I'm thankful
Yeah.
for because I love it.
And yeah, it's a fantastic community, and I mean, you really couldn't ask for anything more for certain people. And I mean, I keep saying it, but if you're new, we really do welcome you.
I mean, I don't know. Depending on the game, you might get some like some crumbled cookies like here or there. It's also very much dependent on like the spot that you're in right now.
If you run into any trouble, DM me. I will. I'll find whoever is being mean to you. Whoever's hitting you with the target Ken combo. I'll go to their house and I'll find them for you. That's what good coaches do.
Yeah.
For legal reasons. That's a joke.
For legal reasons, that's not a joke on my end. Like,
Crazy.
yeah. If
Um,
you have any trouble, send them my way. It will not be trouble any longer. I can tell you that.
but I mean, that's all I have to say for closing remarks. What do you have to say to the lovely listeners?
Uh, there's like one thing I wanted to say like throughout like this entire thing, and like it's a quote from Yipes, and it is a quote that every time I try or every time like I'm out like chilling with friends over at like my college space and everything, because we've been like playing Tekken as of recent, um, and like you gotta get washed in order to get clean. And there are a lot of things like I'm gonna try so hard to like push this metaphor, so bear with me for this Shiro. But like there are a lot of things that there are a lot of different components that it takes in order to get clean. Some people use bleach, some people use like detergent, others just use like straight hand scrubbing with soap and water. At the end of the day, the goal for a lot of people is to eventually get clean. And one of the aspects that like is missed out on a lot is, like we've been saying, mental. For this instance, let's say it's like you're like powdered whiteners or something, right? And even though it might not seem like a big part in like the grand-ish scheme of things, in when you look at it in like the whole and not just the sum of its parts, mental is probably some of like the most important and highly underlooked things that like every fighting game player utilizes like day in and day out. Because obviously, if you have bad mental, you're gonna have bad game plan. You have good mental, your game plan it might still like need to be worked on, but ultimately the way that you approach the games and the way that like you carry yourself and the mindset that you have is going to lead you like way farther into your journey than just like wake up, DP, sit down, rinse, repeat, do that over for like 15 years, and then get pissed off because you don't see any results and like you're getting red. So that's all I can really say. Work on your mental. If you can't work on your mental, try and find someone who can help you work on your mental, or maybe even like do it with a friend or something, or like
Like
a group of
me.
friends. Yeah. You want to plug your Discord one more time?
Oh yeah, that's gonna be Shiro_3051.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a like one of those bad radio commercials where I keep plugging it, but I
No, it's
mean,
don't worry.
I don't know how podcasts work.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I'll be sure to also plug it in the description as well. So don't.
yes, that'll probably be better. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. That's pretty much all from me. Speaking about the description, you guys know what my socials are. Thankfully my Twitter is not as unhinged. So if you want to like shoot me anything over there, then by all means you can tweet at me, like scream at me to get more people on or like get Shiro on again. Um, yeah, that's really it. Follow the socials, follow the podcast. That's really all. Like play fighting games, you gotta get washed in order to get clean. Uh, yeah, that's all I can really say.
Yeah, if you guys like listening to it, listen to some of the other episodes. This is a great podcast. I've listened to bits and pieces. I've been busy, but I mean, when it comes to stuff like this, you gotta you gotta you gotta promote what's actually trying to help the people.
Yeah,
Um, and that's actually for the last time. That's everything from me.
yeah, that's everything for me. Thank you so much, Shiro, for coming on to today and like taking the time out. I really do appreciate it. It really does mean a lot to me.
That's
Uh,
been a pleasure.
yeah. Thank you, the listener. Obviously, I can never forget you guys because I love you all so dearly. You're the entire reason why I sit down in this chair, get people like Shiro, Tankira, everybody else in here to talk and ramble on about like One Piece for 20 minutes and just like other random bullshit. Um,
Unhinged podcast.
yeah. You gotta the spice of life. You have to have like something to switch it up every now and then. Um, Once again, Shira, I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate you, the listener, for like tuning in and listening to almost like what feels like 2 hours of just like ramblings of like mental and everything. Be sure to go to your locals. Be sure to follow the Twitter space and everything. That's all. Thank you all so much. I've said it like 3 times over. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you and goodbye. Have yourselves a damn good one.